What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again. And yeah, I'm excited and I'm kind of a little tongue-tied today. Yes, we're going to go ahead and I'll give you all my rankings of everything today. But I'm just kind of excited. I'm excited for spring football. It's one of those things to where I was like, oh, here in a few weeks, we're going to have the USFL. So I'm going to have the XFL and the USFL. And right now, it's already hard for me to cover the XFL. And I'm kind of excited to see what's happening with the USFL as well, because they'll be in some different markets and there's going to be a bunch of different guys that are going to be playing. And I'm kind of like, who are going to be these diamonds in the rough that we're going to find? These guys that are going to show up and shine, kind of like what we've been seeing so far with the XFL. Like I said, I'm just excited about it. I'm excited about everything around it. I'm excited about this community. And speaking of this community, listen, we all support each other here. And the Comeback Period YouTube channel, the guy's been doing a lot of great stuff. I mean, he's covering things in depth over there. He's at 987 subscribers right now. Get the guy over 1,000. He needs to get over 1,000. Get him over 1,000. Show him some love over there. If you haven't gone over there, check out his channel. Go over, give him the surprise, the subscribe. Get him over that with it. Today, I'm going to try something a little different. Let's go ahead. We're going to play a little game. I don't have any background music for it. I don't have anything like that. But if you want to think about it in your head, we're going to play name that quarterback. So before we go ahead and get into it, I'm going to kind of rattle off some things and tell me who you think this quarterback might be. I got a couple of them for you. So first and foremost, out of all the quarterbacks who have started a game, who has the highest completion percentage so far? Answer: Kyle Sloter. Now, hopefully you guys didn't cheat and didn't look it up. Hopefully you actually answer the question truthfully and honestly. Now, our second question is, who am I? I have a completion rating of under 500, so under 50%. And I've actually fumbled the ball more than I have thrown touchdown passes. Who am I? Well, if you would have said Jordan Ta'amu, you would be correct. Now, I don't want to rag on the guy, but the reality is stats are stats. They're just facts, and facts don't lie. But I will say this. I think that what he's been showing me the last week or so, taking the team on his back, being the leader, he's the starting guy. He is the guy for the job, and I think that he's going to pull that offense around, and I think that those stats are not going to stay that way. He's not going to stay at 48% completion, and his touchdowns are going to come much higher than the one that he has right now. It's just a matter of time before he and that wide receiving core start to click there. So hopefully, you had some fun kind of looking at, these different things with some of these quarterbacks, and maybe some things that might have, shocked you. And if you liked me doing some of those, maybe we'll do some more with some different things, because there's some neat stats that are out there in the XFL right now that we have through 3 weeks. So let's go ahead and let's kind of turn our attention to the going through and ranking these teams. I have kind of put these teams in 3 different tiers here. So I've got the top tier, I've got the in the hunt tier, and then I have the can't afford to lose tier. And we're going to start at the bottom and work our way to top as always. And really at number 8 and in that can't afford to lose tier are the Guardians. Back in 2020, no team had actually gone 0-4 in the XFL. So this is kind of going to be kind of a first for us in this kind of new era of the XFL. And really, if the Guardians, they have to win to even have really they need to win this week to have any hope of getting out of the bottom, out of the cellar. They're in at number 8 here. And the reality of it is that things started off really, really bad, but I think that they've really started to turn things around. And it'll be interesting to see how this thing progresses for them. Peyton Lynch hasn't been really playing that bad. They cleaned up a lot of the issues that they had on, in that O-line. They started bringing things together, and especially against that Renegades defense is going to show that it's a very, very good defense, to where this week it'll be interesting to see how the offense does against a little bit of a different team and a different makeup. I think that this team is starting to move in the right direction. I don't have them at a funny 9 anymore or anything like that. They're legitimately on this list. They're at number 8, but hey, put a couple wins together and all of a sudden, they find themselves in that hunt group. The second team that's in this that can't afford to lose are the Vipers. And really the Vipers, they are not like the Guardians, where the Guardians, it was just a total train wreck. And then last week they started to put things together. This is a team that is just, kind of had some struggles on trying to find ways to win. And I think a lot of it has to do with, just the woes on offense, whether it be the turnovers and that, and then also trying to get that new quarterback acclimated in here. And if you're looking at it, both the two low teams in this bottom tier that I have that can't afford to lose, they both have new quarterbacks that have come in. So you got Quentin Flowers with the Guardians, and unfortunately, I don't think he's really going to be ready to go till probably the earliest at week 6, and they might be completely out of things by then. Realistically, Brett Hundley came in there, and Brett Hundley's starting to really take over this offense. I think that they're going to be a really formidable match here now the next few weeks, now that he's going to really virtually be with the team about a month now. So that's kind of the lower tier teams, and these teams need to find a way to win and win fast because they're already behind the 8 ball. This next group is a group of teams that, listen, they're in the hunt. Some of them might only have one win, but the reality of it is that they're right there. They're teams that are fighting, jockeying for position. And at number 6, I have the Brahmas. It was a tough loss for them last week. The reality of it is that defense was just too good, and their offense just doesn't have the firepower right now. If you ask me, I think that it has nothing to do with the quarterback position or anything, of that nature. I really think that they need to figure out how to open up this offense. I think it's hurting the running game and it's hurting the passing game. Their offense was completely dismal last week. Now, granted, it was a really, really good defense that they played, but it really showed just kind of the issues that they have there. I think that this team is going to be a team that can win some games, and I think that they're going to be able to be a formidable group, in that South. That South is, outside of Houston, is really, really open. So this is a team that's definitely in that hunt and is really, they really are a drive or so away from being 2-1. I mean, that's kind of, how they've been with this. So the Brahmas, if they can fix a few things here and there, this team is going to move up quickly. Now, moving to number 9. Number 9, this one might shock some people, and I apologize if it does, but listen, these are my picks, not yours. I have the Renegades, and the reason I have the Renegades here is that they're another team that has brought into a new quarterback, a guy who, Kyle Sloter, he's been with the team, but I think that Sloter needs to be the guy. Like I talked about before, he has a high completion percentage. I think that they just need to find, a receiver to really help, a playmaker to really help open up that offense for them. But this is a team at 2-1. The issue is that they're the two teams that they beat the Vipers, and then you turn around, beat the Vipers, and you beat the Guardians. So you beat the two worst teams in the league, and you got your rear ends handed to you by the best team in the league. So it's really hard for me to really gauge exactly who they are. Now, I think they've got a really decent defense, but outside of that, let's see how this offense, looks and that as we progress, but right now I have them sitting at 5. At number 4, I have the Dragons, and yeah, they've been fighting each week. The reality is that you're looking at the best offense in the game. Unfortunately, the statement isn't that that offense wins championships. No, the statement is that defense wins championships, and you can't turn the ball over, and that's been their issue. They are turnovers and letting teams come back late in the game. And so they fixed a lot of that this game, and they were able to actually turn the tide and actually be the team coming back at the end of the game and not allowing the other team to come back and do that. And I think getting this win under their belt, I think, is going to propel them forward and really push them up there to be fighting in this really hot North Division that's going to be a dogfight, really, with 3 teams, with them, St. Louis, and DC. I really think that they're all going to be in this big dogfight to where it's going to come down to really the last week or so of the season. That's going to, solidify who are going to be the 2 teams in the playoffs. So that's going to be, I think, a fun one as we go throughout the rest of the season. And then moving to the last team I have here in the hunt, and it's the Battlehawks. Man, it was tough for them. And listen, it's tough to play all 3 of your first games on the road. I mean, they're not like the Roughnecks who've played every game at home so far and had the home field advantage. They are literally, Hawkmania is going to run wild at home. That place is going to be packed. It's going to be exciting. We'll talk about that later. But, it was a tough loss for them, and it really was a back and forth game, and it just didn't kind of go their way. The magic, so to say, kind of ran out. Cinderella's slipper didn't fit this time. But I still think that this is not a team where I feel like they have kind of, like with the Renegades, it's kind of like 2 iffy wins. These the wins that they have are solid wins, and their loss is a loss to an undefeated team. So they need to be sitting right there. And, if it weren't for a couple of things, change a couple of things, they're 3-0. So this is a really formidable team. And like I said, Hawkmania is still alive and well. So don't worry about that, kids. Now, to move in our top tier, our top shelf, so to say, these are 2 undefeated, perfect teams right now. And number 2, I'm going to have to go with the DC Defenders. Last week, they did a fantastic job beating a very, very good Battlehawks team, outlasting them. You saw their quarterback become the leader of the team. And I think that he will be the quarterback going forward. I think that you're still going to see De'Aaron King, but you're going to see less of him because the reality is if Te'amu can stay in there and run the ball like he has and have the command in the passing game like he has, there's no reason to have King on the field. That's just, if you ask me, that's just the way that it is. That's the way that it's going to be. And listen, they have a great home field advantage there. And they still have 3 more games there. So it's going to be one of those things to where they're going to have home field advantage at least 3 more of these games. They're already 3-0. I think if they can get to 6 wins, I think that will almost solidify them into the playoffs. And yeah, this is a Defenders team that can seriously take this thing and win. It'll be fun when they actually play the Roughnecks to see, how this team actually stacks up with them. And to finish things out, I mean, it's no surprise. I have the Roughnecks, and the reality of it is I guess I'm going with all wrestling kind of quotes or references. And hey, in the words of the great Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man, baby. And right now, the Roughnecks are the man. They have been since 2020 with going 5-0, 3-0 here. They have not lost a game in the comeback period of the XFL. And I mean, they've done everything right. They've done everything that they've needed to. Quarterback play has been excellent. They have stars stars in the running back in the backfield with the running backs. They've got star wide receivers. They got defensive stars. I mean, they are sacking the quarterback like nobody's business. They're catching incredible interceptions, getting some amazing takeaways. I mean, everything they can do they're doing it well, and they're led by Wade Phillips. And Wade Phillips is taking this thing, and he is. It's almost watching him on the sidelines has just been a joy for me. Why? Well, you see the interactions that he has with all of his coaching staff, and he lets them, really excel and lets them kind of, lets the lead out, let them take it, and then there are times when they're like, oh, hey, coach, and he's like, no, just. It's like, don't get too cute, don't get too fancy. Listen, just no, we just need to do this, and you can tell he's not allowing the game to get out of hand for them. He's reining things in when he needs to rein it in, and he's also allowing them to be creative when they need to be creative. This team they really have just kind of ran the table with things, and doing things very, very well with beating teams. I mean, they haven't just been beating teams. They've been, they've really been, making the games to not really attainable at the end of the game. Yeah, sure, there's still a chance, but really there's no chance. And, if you want to, you can have that McMahon, entrance music play in your head, because of the reality, these first 3 games, there hasn't been any of that. So those are my thoughts. To break it down again for you, I've got number 8, the Guardians, number 7, the Vipers, number 6, the Brahmas, number 5, the Renegades, number 4, the Dragons, number 3, Battlehawks, number 2, the Defenders, and number 1, the Roughnecks. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and we'll continue the conversation on down there. Listen, guys, I know that you're busy, and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.